Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video marks the beginning of the week number 70 in this Road to 100k Realized Return Challenge, and the week started very positively. It was already something that we should already have seen coming based on pre-market trading. Those main indexes were already in the green before trading commenced. I believe the main reason for this is apparently because Google has released its new version of its AI model, Gemini. So it's now the latest one is Gemini 3, and this came only 8 months after its unveiling of the Gemini 2.5, as this news piece says in here. And as a result, the stock was at some point bouncing up 5%, and apparently, yeah, this had a knock-on effect on the rest of the market, and this apparently is a catalyst for investors to believe that, all right, perhaps the downswing, the drawdown that happened over the past few weeks, maybe was a bit overdue, and so yeah, investors are coming back into the trade, the AI trade, in a vengeance. We have just cracked $600 again on the queues, and our calls that we sold last week and will expire at the end of this week bounced back a little bit, so we are no longer close to 2 cents, 3 cents. They bounced back a bit more to 5 cents, which is a good sign for us. Still, these calls are still very much out of the money, and so chances are I think it's going to be pretty much impossible for them to get into the money over the course of just this week, especially also keeping in mind that we are going to have the market close on Thursday, so because of Thanksgiving this week will be a shortened week in terms of trading, and also because there are basically no notable market highlights to account for. Today is pretty much an empty day. There is nothing here. There will be tomorrow the PPI, so this is some inflation data, but it's on the producer side, with some retail sales as well, and some consumer confidence, which is also something that may have an effect on the market, but not that significant. And we have initial jobless claims as well the next day on Wednesday. But then that's pretty much it for the week in terms of economic data coming out, and so yeah, probably the market will not do as much, but it's something that we'll have to see later down the road. Now, when it comes to the XLF, the stock was trading a little bit higher up than it's now, and as a result of that, our puts were hovering a little bit lower, about 15 cents. Now it's a little bit back up, but still, we are not too worried about this. Even if we are assigned on these puts, it's not a bad thing. It will allow us to sell the calls at around 52 and still get a capital gain, so it's not going to be a problem. About this call, we could already buy it back, and it would allow us to save us 4 days worth of theta, which are basically crushed by the fact that the option is so much out of the money. But the fact is that, keeping in mind that we bought, this is not the one, yeah, this is the one. So keeping in mind the fact that we sold actually these calls at 4 cents, and if we bought back this call, and making the simulation here, we would have 1.55 dollars left, and keep in mind we still have to pay a commission on this, so chances are we are going to profit for sure less than $1 if we buy this back. So I'm not gonna buy this back. It's a shame, but also if we roll over this position to the next week, and this is something that I took the time to review before I started recording the video. If we try to sell a put for the next week, at the end of the next week, with the same strike price, we would hit. We would only receive 4 cents again, and also there is no point in us rolling to the 53 and take the risk of a capital loss, even though with the gains, with the premiums already got, our cost basis is already 50 to 70, something like that, but still it's not worth it. So we might as well wait and let it expire, and yeah, see, perhaps if the stock comes back a little bit more, and we'll be able to sell puts for the next week at 53.50, but still collecting a higher premium in the process. Yeah, and this is pretty much it at this point. I also want to address some questions that a question that was asked me a few days ago, which was basically why I don't follow the same approach that I did, especially the days after the April the 9th loss, in which I would, in this case, sell calls on the queues with us with 10 delta calls. So in this case, with a 10 delta call would still be somewhere along the lines of, let's see, yes. So in this case, basically the question is, why don't you sell, for example, in this case, a 607 call and put in a stop loss to still keep having material gains on that, on the shares, because at this point you, or meaning me, I'm collecting almost no premiums for the shares. And that's a good point, but the reason I don't do it, and of course, because as long as we use stop losses, we will never have the kind of loss that we had on April the 9th. We would have, for sure it would happen, small losses in the process, but also some small gains. But the issue is that I'm not going to do that for several reasons. First of all, the market has gone down and is subdued at this point. But given the situation of the market, all it takes, it's a spark, like if you have gas in the air and you lit a match, chances are an explosion is going to happen. The way the market is behaving at the moment, chances are that if some unexpected positive development comes, the market will rise very, very strongly. And that would lead to, of course, a small loss because we have the stop loss, but still some slippage will happen. This loss can be small, but also can slip into a slightly larger loss. But if this situation happens, you are kicked out of the market at a loss, and then you have to come back in again. And then if the market keeps rising, you get another loss and then another loss, you see. So because the stop losses are constantly getting you out of the market at a loss, and you are still having to come back in. So this is one issue for me, that because I believe that this possibility is not irrelevant at this point. And also another reason, and this is probably the most important one, is that doing this approach is very stressful. It requires the trader to be in front of the screen all the time. At the time when I did this, I did not do it. I did not do it in. Of course, I was not in front of the screen all the time, but still, the strategy, following the strategy, is never optimal when you are not available to get in front of the screen every single minute. And so, because at this moment I'm not available to do that, it's not possible for me to do it, I prefer to get into a more conservative approach and wait until the market rebounds, because of course these gains are small, but these gains are pretty much something that you can get your hands off the mouse and get your eyes off the trading and the platform, with the conscious that whatever happens, you will be fine. Your profits, your gains will be small, relatively small, but you know that you can be sure that you can get away from the platform, and you will not be always thinking about the market. And if you have a busy life, like it's my case, you have other things to do, and you have other things to worry about, and you cannot have the trading on top of your head every single second. And so that's the reason why I hope this is pretty clear. If I was in front of the screen all the time, I would follow that strategy, of course, but at this moment it's not really feasible for me, for all the reasons that I have just explained. But of course, I appreciate the question that you put out, and of course, keep them coming. I'll be glad to answer some more. But for the time being, this is all. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. I'm also available on LinkedIn in case you need to ask me any questions. And of course, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we'll reconvene at the end of this shortened week to see how the trades went to close out week 70 in this challenge. And I'll see you there.